Hi friends, thank you for tuning in to Shelby Artist YouTube channel today. It is nice to have you here and I hope that you're doing well. I know that the lighting in this video on me and my face is very much shadow. Yes, I studied art in college for decades. However, I didn't finish my photography class, which included lighting. And what I'm doing here on my YouTube videos would be that class. I do composition, as you can see, not lighting. So hopefully the editing on the video will adjust that, as I usually do on all my videos. 55-second intro. I am reading to you again today a paragraph or two from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I love how peaceful it is today. I love grounding in nature. I would live in nature if I could. You know, on my video about the Renaissance Fair, and when I got the people's tents, I mentioned, you know, I would love to live in one of these. When I was a kid, I wanted to live in an Indian teepee because, you know, I'm an earth sign and I love grounding. To live outside, you know, that's awesome. But anyway, it just feels so good out here. I do prefer a real house and warm bed and everything like that, especially since we have severe weather in this area. It's better to have a real home than a teepee. But maybe if you're somewhere with better weather. I'll stop talking about that. Okay. So I was just I didn't plan to film a video today, but I was inspired to after what I read here. On page 174 and 175 of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And it's about using the power of now in relationships. And it's also about letting go of self. And, you know, he is so profound. I mean, this is what makes him so famous. This man is a modern day philosopher who's extremely profound and revolutionary psychologically, you know. But sometimes he starts his paragraphs with a question in italics. So the question says, is it not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with another person? That's what I teach. I know I've seen Teal Swan disagree with me and other people. Anyway. If you cannot be at ease with yourself when you are alone, Eckhart Tolle says, you will seek a relationship to cover up your unease. Okay, this is very, very, very true. Okay. I know someone who publicly says that he cannot stand to be alone. So he has to sleep with a different random woman every night just to keep him company in bed because he's that scared of being alone as a 52-year-old man. All right. This is exactly you can be sure that the unease will then reappear in some other form within the relationship, and you will probably hold your partner responsible for it. So what he's saying, in other words, is if you can't handle being alone and enjoying your own company, what makes you think someone else is going to enjoy your company? This is what I'm going through right now. I've been completely alone for 4 years, no friends, no family, literally. And the loneliness is getting to me. However, God is using this time to strengthen me and grow me. I know this is not going to last forever, but you know, pruning or whatever spiritually, because I am learning to be at ease with myself when I am alone. Okay. I am learning to enjoy my own company. I had a spiritual thing happen to me where I was thrown into outer space, outer darkness. And it was one of the scariest feelings I've ever felt, because I knew I was in eternity and I was floating in space completely alone in outer darkness. I experienced outer darkness. I did not have a body. It was a spiritual experience. I was laying in my bed and like a hand came down and like picked up my spirit and like catapulted it and yanked it and threw it out into outer darkness. And then all of a sudden I was floating in space in outer darkness, and I cried out to God, God, are you there? Are you there? Because I was completely alone floating in space. And God didn't reply. Eventually I woke up, and the first thing I wanted to do was call someone to hear another person's voice. And that was a lesson that taught me when I woke up. The lesson that I had learned was how important communication is. And that happened like a long time ago. You know, I was maybe like 25 years old, 39 now, so 14 years ago maybe that happened. But what I took from that was, you know, outer darkness is real, and you do not want to go there. It's terrifying. And communication is very, very, very important. You know, because of that, I learned also that goes with it is don't take anything for granted, not even communication. This is why now I am so big on communication. I always communicate. And, you know, people think that I'm doing too much. Balance, I'm learning a balance, whatever. But this is why. You know, I learned a lot actually from that. Another thing I learned, the reason I brought it up, is because what I'm talking about here, you have to, if by some possibility you or me end up in outer darkness, I know how to prepare myself now, because you're left alone with yourself for eternity and no one else. So you might as well learn to enjoy your company. This is why I'm so happy. This is why I'm so playful. Because I'm enjoying my own company and myself. So I don't mean to be rude ever, but I know a lot of the straight talking truths that I share definitely can be received that way. And I apologize if I come off rude. That's not what I want. But what I'm going to say is, to that person, for example, who cannot be alone, if you cannot be alone with yourself, that is a glaringly obvious telling me that you hate yourself. I'm going to move on. Starting over, is it not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with another person? Yes, it is true. If you cannot be at ease with yourself when you are alone, you will seek a relationship to cover up your unease. You can be sure that unease will then reappear in some other form within the relationship, and you will probably hold your partner responsible for it. At 11 minutes now. All you really need to do is accept this moment fully. You are then at ease in the here and now, and at ease with yourself. This is what I was talking about in my video, Are You Bored? Or something about boredom. Okay, I might link it at the end of this one. But do you need to have a relationship with yourself at all? Why can't you just be yourself? When you have a relationship with yourself, you have split yourself into two. I and myself, subject and object. That mind-created duality is the root cause of all unnecessary complexity, of all problems and conflict in your life. Okay, now this sounds good, but I'm hesitant to completely agree with it, and this is why we'll go on. That mind-created duality is the root cause of all unnecessary complexity, of all problems and conflict in your life. So when people split, it is the beginning of all mental illness and you know, emotional brokenness and this and that. We definitely want to be whole. The Holy Spirit, whole, WHOL. Everyone should be whole, which means healed. Okay. And most of us are split because of the Monarch Project. In the state of enlightenment, you are yourself. You and yourself merge into one. You do not judge yourself. You do not feel sorry for yourself. You are not proud of yourself, and you do not love yourself. You do not hate yourself, and so on. The split caused by self-reflective consciousness is healed and its curse removed. There is no self that you need to protect, defend, or feed anymore. When you are enlightened, there is one relationship that you no longer have, the relationship with yourself. Once you have given that up, all your other relationships will be love relationships. So after I read that, I was mind blown. And this is why I went and got the book and made this video. I did not have my camera out here when I was reading. I had to go back and get it to do this and read it again to you. These are my thoughts. Definitely a bit of a disagreement, as I mentioned before. Jehovah, the name of the God of Abraham in the Bible, means, Jehovah is a Hebrew word that means I am. The word I represents a sense of self. Now here's the funny part. The Christian religion, the Bible, teaches us, and Yahshua, Jehovah's son, taught us to die to self. So that statement, suggestion, is in alignment, actually, with Eckhart Tolle's statement here. That this basically, you know, die to yourself. That's what Jesus teaches, and that's what Eckhart Tolle also teaches. Become whole, maybe, is what die to self means. To not be split anymore. To not judge yourself. To not fear yourself. To just be. I am. So, I mean, I'm definitely processing all of this on video in front of the whole world. And I really, the intention, okay, I'm learning to state my intentions on everything. For doing this, I really want to garner and solicit and ask for thoughts, input. I like to hold philosophical discussions. I'm a very, very deep thinker. I've always have been. And it's probably due to all these spiritual experiences that I have, that I do not instigate or create or do. I am just a spiritual person. I don't do it. I might do little things here and there, you know, but light a candle. I mean, I can't even really think of anything else. Wear a certain, you know, jewelry or whatever. Draw a little tiny doodle. I don't know. But I mean, I don't ever really barely ever do that. Maybe once or twice in my whole life I've ever done. What I'm saying is I don't run after, I don't devote myself to doing spirituality. It comes to me. I'm like a major magnet for it. As I said, I did not astral project. I did not try to astral project. I just went to bed and an effing hand came down out of the sky and threw me in outer darkness, and I had this crazy spiritual experience. Okay. But I mean, I did have questions that I actually just answered on video a couple minutes ago. As far as, but my question was, you know, the name of God. I am. So Moses told Pharaoh that his God's name was I am. Sent me. That was his God's name. I am. Moses' God was I am. The word I suggests a sense of a self. Yes. He didn't say God's name is M, you know. Die to self and live for Christ. I mean, maybe something so profound and something so real and true and heavy cannot be put into words. Anything is possible. Maybe I is such a, you know, word used so much in communication. I cannot live the rest of my life without ever saying the word I again, and I implies me, self, I. So I mean, sometimes when I get confused in my mind, I try to stop using it, because it's obviously taking me somewhere I don't want to go. It's, you know, getting overloaded or whatever. I need a break. I need to take a step back. And I get out of my mind. And I get into my body, as I'm doing now with my bare feet on the ground, grounding. and just be. See, that's the power of now. As I mentioned earlier, I love how quiet and peaceful it is. See, if I'm gonna run after and search after anything and devote my life to anything, and you know, it's gonna be peace and quiet. That's what I run after and search after. Peace and quiet. That's why I'm here. The city is too toxic for me. Literally, it was killing me. That's why I say it's toxic. And the earth, you know, is healing. So, heaven is peaceful and quiet. There's a lot of real extreme contradictions in the Bible. And, you know, whenever this happens, I do not drive myself completely mad and crazy trying to make sense of one or the other. That could be described as duality. Okay. 5D, however, not only can be described as unconditional love, but also unity, oneness. So, the whole collective consciousness of the world, of the earth right now, is moving towards 5D unity consciousness. That's what the whole twin flame concept is about. Unity, oneness, not being dual, not being split anymore, but being whole and one. Did you know that the word worship means to become one with? When you become one with something, you are worshiping the something that you are becoming one with. That is why in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, when they were getting married at their wedding, you know, Juliet's wedding vows use the term worship. With my body I worship thee. With my body I become one with thee. That was Juliet's marriage vows that Shakespeare wrote. And I also have a video about that titled "What is Worship?" under my philosophical discussions playlist, that this one will also go under. There's a little tiny red bug crawling on my book. I blew it off like that. It's like a little tiny, I don't know, mite or something. So well, I won't say that. I'm at 24 minutes and 2 seconds. Thanks for watching. I hope that you learned something new that is of benefit. You know, this is a religious, philosophical monologue discussion. So a discussion, the word die means two. So that involves more than one people, which means I am asking for comments. Alrighty. Thanks again for watching.